What is bullying?
Here is what I found.
I think bullying is just like being negative and bringing people down. You could use your words or being physical, but yeah, it's just being negative in general. I think bullying is just not right. Like we should all just be supportive and together. Like the world is better without it.
Well, obviously, I think bullying is wrong, and I wish it could be prevented. But I think it's like the world. It's a big world, and so I think it'll take time, obviously. But I think like the more we spend time with each other, like the more we could like work through it.
I see it happening to everyone, like to some of my close friends, to random people. It can happen to anyone, honestly.
Like it really hurts like people's feelings, and like majority of the time the people that are bullying, they don't like really understand like how it really hurts the person that they're bullying.
Yes, I think that bullying takes place in Annandale. It is a big school. I don't think it's as much as in other schools, since we are like, one school and family, so we do try to work together with it. But there is a lot of people at the school, and I think that some of them are ignorant enough to bully others.
I mean, it's not like in the movies where people like push each other in lockers or like trip
stuff
somebody.
each other in the lockers, yeah. But it's
Like,
like
head in the
people, it's people like making fun of each other, and you don't know. If
It's like to their friends.
Yeah, you don't know if they're taking it seriously or if they're feeling it.
Physical bullying is like physically hurting someone using your body, like pushing them against a locker, punching them, stuff like that.
Physical bullying is causing harm to somebody through your actions or physically hurting them in any way. You feel a need to be stronger than the other person or feel superior to somebody else to prove a point or just to show dominance and like gain respect for any
If you
reason.
see it happen right in front of you in the hallway, you should either tell them to stop, and if they don't, you should get someone to break it up.
Cyberbullying is basically bullying behind a computer screen or a phone screen. It's usually anonymous, so a lot of people feel like what they're doing isn't completely wrong, but you don't know the repercussions that it might have on that person. You don't know what that person's been going through, and cyberbullying is just as bad as physical or emotional bullying face to face. Cyberbullying usually takes place on our social media outlets like Twitter, Instagram, or like AskFM, just social media outlets like that where people feel comfortable enough to put their personalities out there, and that's what makes it really sad because a lot of people try and show themselves on social media, and the fact that they're being bullied for showing their own personalities is really hurtful.
Verbal bullying is like when somebody's being harassed verbally, and it's the same effect as physical bullying. It's not good. It definitely should be like looked out for it and stopped. Pretty shocking to see who is doing it and who's the victim, because there's many different types of variables, and it can happen to anybody. It's harming people, and it's actually worse than physical bullying, I think.
Gossiping is bullying because basically you're talking bad about someone and no one likes that.
Yeah, if you're gossip, you're basically being two-faced because you might say one thing to one friend and you go to another friend and say something bad about that friend, which
It's considered bullying.
it makes them feel sad, unwanted, because the people who they thought were their real friends are talking behind their back, and it makes them feel that they're fake.
Bullying takes place between friend groups because sometimes a person may call their friend like fat and ugly, and the person who's being called that may actually really be affected, and the person saying it may not know that.
It happens all the time, but usually we don't notice because we're friends, but it could actually hurt them. It could be as a joke, but they actually take it to the heart.
A lot of the times, friends will just call each other those names and they don't know how it affects them. And your friends are there as people to talk to and to vent to, but when your friends are the ones making fun of you, you feel like you're all alone in the situation.
A bystander should step in, not to fight, but to stop the fight. And if they don't feel comfortable enough to stop the fight, they should contact a teacher or an adult around them. And also, instead of taking out their phones and cellular devices, they can try to do something about it.
People don't realize the impact that they can have on the people around them. And we talk about the role of the bystander, that you just being there can make a huge difference. You being there to support your friends and to stand up when you see something going wrong can make a huge impact on whoever's around you. And I don't think people realize the impact that they can have. You know, when I was in high school, I had a really large group of friends and we all had a lot of fun. We had a great time in high school. And there were some guys especially that were always teasing and always making fun. And I don't know why, but like they used to make fun of me for some stuff. And it really bothered me, but because they were my friends and because they were definitely the more like popular guys, I didn't stand up to them. I'd be like, guys, stop, and I'd say that, but they didn't take me seriously, and it would hurt a lot, but I knew they were my friends, and so I think they didn't mean it, but I didn't really know. And I wish someone would have stood up and said to them, they didn't have to say it in front of me, but be like, knock it off. Like, enough. It's not funny. Like, what you're saying to her, don't you see it's probably hurting her? Or maybe that's not cool. Like, just say something to stop it. Or when it's not a friend situation, like, go to an adult. If you see someone bothering someone and you know they can't help themselves, help them. Go to an adult, go to a counselor, go to a teacher, go to anyone that you feel like will listen to you and be like, hey, this person is really being bothered. Please do something to help them. You don't have to be named. You can be anonymous, but step up because you'd want someone to step up for you.
And I think also it's important if kids are seeing bullying that they be a friend and they don't just be a bystander, that they say this is wrong, that's not the way to treat people, that they don't allow it to happen, because we want a culture that is supportive and welcoming and where everybody feels they belong in our school. So that's what I would recommend. It's important to stop it right away.
People bully because they probably feel insecure about themselves, so they want to make them feel better, so by putting other people down, and they think it's cool, but it's really not.
People bully because they're insecure about themselves and they have their own personal issues that they're dealing with, so by taking it out on other people, it makes them feel better.
I believe that some people bully out of many different reasons. Some people are insecure and they like to place their insecurities on other people, or they bully someone that they feel is threatening or has something that they want, so putting them down is an easier way to like get that confidence. And some other people maybe have like harsh lives in the sense that maybe their parents were really abusive or any type of put on any type of abuse on them, so that's probably the only way they can communicate when they see a weaker individual. They kind of just like are harsh on them when they believe that.
Yeah, I've been called weird since elementary school and like pretty much all throughout my life, but I don't really let it bother me because I know I'm weird and I just embrace it. I don't let other people bring me down.
If someone's being bullied, they are sad. It can cause problems with them feeling more anxious. They might start avoiding social situations. Sometimes it can get really bad and kids will skip school, want to stay home. They stop being as interested in things that they used to like. If it gets really bad, it can affect their academics. You know, they can't stop thinking about it. It can affect their sleep. It can affect their eating, so it can be really, really serious. And of course, all those things can affect also how they are later on, because if they're not doing well now, if they're having a hard time paying attention and focusing in school because they're so worried about what might happen to them when they're in the hallway, they're not going to be doing well at school, and that can affect later how they do it after high school.
So the effects of bullying are emotional distress, and it could eventually cause somebody to drop in their academics and be really stressed about life and increase their anxiety level, and really just cause an overall negative effect in their life and their entire family too.
A lot of effects on students in regard to bullying. A lot of it is on emotional impact. There's a lot of social impacts. Students feel isolated. They feel like they're no longer part of a group, or they start to lose their friends. There's a lot of physical impacts as well. People have various ways that it impacts them physically. It can be eating habits, it can be physical appearance, it can be involved in activities and exercise. And ultimately, the biggest impact is that right now with bullying hitting the internet and being a part of our cyber environment, is that there's no escape. It's always around.
Don't let it get to you. Just, if it's who you are, it's who you are. But if it really does bother you, seek out someone that you really feel comfortable with and that you trust and you know won't, continue to bully you or make fun of you.
So an important thing for kids to know is that they can always go to an adult, a trusted adult. They can go to a teacher, they can go to their counselor, they can come down to the learning center where we have me, I'm the school psychologist, we have a social worker. Any one of those people can definitely step in.
Definitely speak out. Speak out to the people closest to you. I mean, it might be hard at first, but if you persevere and you look through it in the long run. It's gonna help.
If you're being bullied in any way, you can go to a loved one, a trusted adult, teachers, coaches, counselors. We have some amazing counselors here, and teachers, anyone that you trust.
One school, one family.
One school, one family.
One school, one family. One school, one family.